Okay, so today is day 4 of our moose hunting adventures, and last night we ended up seeing our first bull moose out here, and we tried to hike up on him and we ended up losing him. It got dark and we had to leave, so we're back out here again today. It's about 3:15 and we spotted him again. It's pretty far away right now, maybe, I don't know, 800 to 1,000 yards. So we're gonna hike down a little closer. We're gonna bring our moose call and we're gonna try and see if we can call him in a little bit closer.
So Eric and I went down to the spot earlier today that we were talking about, and Eric actually spotted that bull moose again that I think we saw the day before, and spotted maybe even another one. We walked out to this area. It was a great spot, probably about 600 feet from where we thought the moose was. He had went down into some bushes. We sat there for 2 hours, and at that point we saw his head pop up. We confirmed that he was a legal bull moose, so they either need to be 50 inches wide at the widest point, or they have to have 3 brow ties in the unit we're in, and he did have 3 brow ties. So at that point, Eric got his rifle ready, and the bull moose got up and just walked away, and it walked right over a ridge to where we couldn't get it, and we pretty much were bummed. So we're now out at a different spot, just looking and hoping that we can still find one tonight. Otherwise, we're gonna go home empty-handed again. All right, it is 3 a.m. and we are heading out on our 5th day of moose hunting, and we're gonna go back out and try and scout that same area and hopefully find that same bull moose that we missed the opportunity out on the other day. Weird sound. Okay, it is 2:30 p.m. This is our 7th day moose hunting. We've gone out a few more days since the last time we filmed and had some varying success. We've seen cows, we've seen cows with babies, we've also seen bulls and some that were eligible, or ones that qualified and ones that didn't. And we're headed back out today, right now.
So far on this trip, we feel like we've pretty much progressed every single day we've gone out. We're new to moose hunting, but every time we come out, it seems like we're learning something and we're getting a little more action. We're getting this much closer to seeing the bull that we can shoot. We have had a couple problems out here. Our Polaris yesterday almost left us stranded. We had a wiring issue that kind of burnt out some wires while we were trying to winch out of the mud. Luckily, we were able to get back home and get it fixed. So we are out here again today, and we are going after a bull that we saw early this morning that was scared off. So we're going back to the same spot we were this morning, and hopefully he will show himself this evening.
Okay, we're heading out.
We got a flat tire, and we did bring a spare with us with a spare wheel, but I'm gonna try to patch it real quick so we can save that spare in case we really need it. And if this doesn't work, we're gonna have to throw the spare on here. All right, it took 2 plugs, but we got the tire fixed. We're gonna get our stuff put away and get back on the trail.
Alright, so it is the end of moose hunting season for 2019. It started at the end of August for us and went into the end of September, and now we are getting close to October. Unfortunately, we were unsuccessful, but we still wanted to go over a few things with you guys and tell you about our experience, since overall we did have a really good time out there, and we've had some pretty bad weather here, so we are inside our Conex filming this.
Yeah, so we were unsuccessful this year. We put a lot of time and effort into this moose hunting season. It's our first time hunting moose, and being that we did put a lot of time into this hunting season, we were not filming a lot. So this video is kind of pieced together, just a little bit of footage here and there. We didn't get a lot of footage of actual moose, although we did see a lot of moose this season.
We think altogether we saw about 12 bulls. Some were legal, some were not. And being that it's our first time out there, it was very difficult for us to distinguish what was legal or not, size-wise, if they're over 50 inches or if they have 3 tines, which is really incredibly hard to see from far away. That was one of the reasons why we weren't filming. We took it very seriously, and we were just out there hunting because we really wanted a moose. So it's really nice that we did get to see moose. We did see them doing some practice fighting, which was really awesome. We got to see 3 bulls, locking up and kind of just play fighting.
Yeah, we definitely saw a lot of moose. I mean, almost every day we were going out, we were seeing cows, we were seeing calves, we were seeing bull moose. We were actively calling moose in. We actually had a female call back to us. We had plenty of bulls calling back to us, and we even actually called a couple bulls in to shooting range, but those were not of legal size. So another thing you might notice in this video is we have a new Polaris. We ended up making the decision to get rid of our Polaris 4-wheeler, and we upgraded to a 6-wheeler, and we're definitely glad that we did. This machine is like a game changer for us. It's going through things our old one would have a big problem with, and this new machine is going through it with ease. So If you see that green machine in the videos, that is our new 6-wheeler.
Going back to what Eric said, we devoted a lot of time this month to it. In fact, we probably neglected a lot of things that we should have been doing here and be getting ready for winter. So now we're kind of in a crunch to get a lot of stuff done. But because we had seen so many signs and seen bulls, we just really stayed optimistic and thought that if we put that much time and effort into it, we would be successful. And clearly we weren't. So that's just life, right? So we were gone for really long days. Some days we were gone for 16 hours. Sometimes we split it up into half days. We didn't really have the ability to camp out there like some people do. So these were mainly just long day trips and really hard for us to get everything else done in the meantime while this season was going on.
Yeah, and we're lucky enough to live somewhere where we can just leave straight from our house, but we did put, I think we put over 800 miles on our Polaris just this hunting season. So we definitely did a lot of driving.
Yeah, then that really brings us to next year, what our plan is. So we definitely are going to, now that we're residents, we want to put in for cow tags. It's much easier to find a cow than it is a qualifying bull moose. And we may put in for some other things, not putting all our eggs in one basket. You know, we talked about spring bear hunting because this time came, and I know we didn't need a moose. You know, we can still survive with what we have, and we obviously can go to the store, but I think our hope was a little bit too strong and we fell short of that. So next year we're going to plan ahead accordingly and try to have different meat going into winter in case we don't get a moose.
And this season, a lot of our time, I think we agree, was spent on finding our good hunting areas. We didn't have a lot of time where we could go out before the season and kind of scope out where we were going to hunt. So that's why we put so many miles on our machine this year, was kind of driving around and finding where we want to hunt. And I think we have at least 3 or 4 really good areas where we see a lot of action that we're going to really focus in our time next year and not waste a lot of time driving around looking for our spots.
Yeah, with moose hunting, the technique we found that works the best is really less mileage. So finding their concentration areas and glassing, which is where you're higher up, and just trying to find them and either sneak in on them or calling them in. And to be out there with those animals is really cool because you just literally feel like you're out in their home, in, you know, their land, and they respond to you. They'll call back when you call back. And one time we even heard a female call, which is crazy because I don't think that's that common, and it sounded crazy because you're trying to mimic this female cow call, and it sounds really funny. Basically, you probably heard it, and the real version of it was incredible. It was 30 seconds long. You know, she did it twice, and it sounded like, I think it sounded like a ghost, and Eric thinks it sounded like...
I think it sounded like a chainsaw, and then it turned into a goat, like a goat farm animal.
So a ghostly goat is what we ended on for that. We also saw a bunch of wolf prints and grizzly bear prints and black bear prints. Eric maybe saw a black bear. The grizzly bear was pretty scary. We saw lots of prints where we were hunting, and
we actually even came upon a cow moose that a bear had killed and had buried. So there was a bunch of grass pushed up on this pile, and there was moose legs and a moose head sticking out of it. So we decided not to hunt that area, and we took off pretty quick.
One thing we didn't mention is we had a lot of setbacks with our side-by-side this year. Not that there's any sort of problem with the machine.
Yeah, I think our first problem was the way the winch was wired in to that machine. It wasn't wired in a thick enough gauge of a wire at one part, and we were winching out of a mud hole and it blew the wire out. Luckily we had to come along and we got out of that situation. Second thing that happened to it, our volts were reading 10.8 volts, which is extremely low. That turned out just to be that the gauge wasn't correct. Luckily I had a multimeter and I was able to hook straight to the battery and decide that our battery was still fully charged. And the third thing that happened was we broke 2 rear axles. Luckily we were able to order a set of axles for the back that arrived here in about 3 days. So all in all, I think we were down for about maybe a week during this whole moose season.
Yeah, so those trails are gnarly. I don't know if that shows a lot in the filming, but I mean, they're the gnarliest we've ever done, and they're all gnarly. I mean, if there's mud or rocks or just steep, and I mean, total respect for the people who go out there because it's just not that easy. Let's just put it that way. You're out there. Some people go out there by themselves. They're on quads, and it's a really hard thing to do, and sometimes you're glassing for hours at a time, and sometimes you won't see anything, and that's incredibly, to me, annoying or frustrating to sit there in one spot like that and not hear or see anything. But overall, we got to see really, really cool things. I don't necessarily regret the experience. I think we should have divvied up our time a little bit differently, but I don't regret us going out there and spending that much time doing it, because we weren't going to get in this sitting here, which ironically enough, Eric and I came home one day and there was a bull moose in our backyard.
Yeah, I went outside, I think, to grab some more firewood. I think it was a weekend day, and we kind of tried to take the weekends off if we could. And I look out in our back bog, out where our bees are, and there was a bull moose out there. He was in the in-between stage where he wasn't a spike or a fork where we could shoot him, and he also wasn't 50 inches. He was
under 30,
20 inches. Yeah. He was real small, and he was kind of just scraping the trees in our backyard, and we tried calling him in a little, and he was just kind of bouncing around having fun, and then he kind of just took off into the back forest.
So again, even though we're bummed, we still feel like it was a really valuable learning experience, and we have so much more knowledge going forward next year, which is going to help us, and hopefully we'll be able to get more footage. We'll be more comfortable with identifying the bulls and all that. Again, they're just really magnificent to see that close to them. As far as the lack of meat, I'm not really sure what we're going to do. We have, 100 plus cans of fish, but that's not very much considering the winter is pretty long here.
Yeah, we are going to do a root cellar update pretty soon, and we'll kind of be showing how much food we have. We have a lot of food. Like Errol said, we have over 100 cans of salmon, we have some frozen salmon, and we have a ton of veggies. But luckily, we do live in a day and age where we can go to the store if we need to. We can, find local farmers here and maybe buy something, maybe stock up on some meat. But yeah, we're not too worried about it at this point in time. We definitely have enough food to make it through winter.
So with that being said, we are done with that time period being gone from YouTube and just trying to get caught up around here. We have lots of things we want to show you guys and catch up on and share. So we will be posting quite a bit more now that that period of our life is over. So stay tuned, and we will be uploading quite a bit more.
We'll see you guys on the next video.
It's up so high you're not getting traction on that one.